recording first, and then I'll share the screen. Okay, I think we're going now. I've got my PowerPoint ready to go. Tonight we're talking about Rock Your Network Marketing Business, Chapter 5 by Sarah Robbins. This chapter is entitled Power Prospecting, or How to Find Your Rock Star. We all want to find a rock star. We have some on our team. I am very grateful and I feel very blessed. What you now do for a living is you talk to people. Talking to people is what you're going to do for a living, so it has to become a part of your lifestyle. This is what Sarah says. You know, we do have some people on our team that are not as outgoing as other people. When I was younger, was a very, very shy person. It was not my nature to start a conversation with someone. Now, I had friends and I could talk with my friends all day long, but for me to share and start talking to total strangers was not something that was natural with me. Of course, I married somebody that it was natural for. That's how people like that get together. They marry the person opposite of them. But I can say now that there are times when I am the more outgoing person of the two of us. Not every time, but there definitely are times because I've learned to be that way. Talking. The more people you talk to, the faster your team is going to grow and the farther you're going to go in this business. So we all need to learn to be good talkers. When you share with someone and they tell you no, don't take it personally. You are sharing, you are inviting, you are sifting and sorting people. That is exactly what you're doing. Don't be emotionally connected to the outcome. A waitress is not offended when somebody does not want coffee. In other words, if a waitress offers you coffee and you said, no, I don't care for coffee, I don't drink coffee myself, she doesn't turn around and go back in the kitchen and cry. She doesn't say, well, I'm never going to do that again, or I'm not going to like that person anymore because they don't like coffee. But this is the same sort of thing that we are talking about. We just keep offering it to everyone. And some people are going to change their minds. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and told the waitress, no, you don't want that drink? And then later, you know, I've changed my mind. I think I do want that. Of course, people will change their minds. The more they see you posting, the more they hear about Plexus, the more likely they are to change their minds. So you always want to get back with them again later. No doesn't mean no unless they shout it in your face, no, and don't ever talk to me about that again. And I've never had anybody to do that so far. You just keep pouring that coffee. Everyone can get plugged in with these 3 C's that Sarah talks about in her book. Your potential person could be a consultant, or in our terms, an ambassador. They could be a customer and love the products, or they could be what she calls a connector and give you referrals. We need to have a goal, Sarah says, to reach 5 new people every day. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to go out on the street and meet 5 new people. I don't get out of my house some days, so I'm not going to meet 5 new people outside my house. But what I can do is talk to 5 people on the phone, text with 5 people. And she says we need to always have 5 samples and 5 business cards with us. I mean, I think it's a good idea to have more than that. But if you start with at least 5 every day and you give those 5 away or mail those 5 out to somebody, then you're going to be reaching 5 new people every day. So I know what you're asking. Where can I find people? I've had to ask this myself. I've lived in this area now, I think 2 years, and you'd be surprised at how many people I don't know and have not met here. Because Rod, my husband, took an interim pastorate in Belton, which is 2.5 hours from here. So we started going on Sundays. Instead of the church we'd joined here, we started going down there. We've been doing that for 6 months. And yes, I've met a lot of people there. I have an ambassador there. Actually, as of tonight, I have 2 ambassadors there. One of the ladies I've been talking with there joined my team tonight. But where are you going to find people? You're going to revisit your customers. You may have had customers for several months now, and you've never talked to them about the business. Shared the benefits of being an ambassador. Because not only could they be getting the benefits of buying the products wholesale, but they could be making money when they share it for their friends. If they've been your customer 3 or 4 months, they obviously must like the products. So it's time for you to share with them about what if could happen if they become an ambassador. You can go back and revisit past prospects or former business builders when something is new. In other words, this month in June, we had a new product called Mega X. It was introduced at the convention. You know, they decided to switch the capsule out, so it's not yet available in our back office. But those of us who were actually at convention got to purchase 2 bottles each of it. We have it. My husband and I have been taking it. And I was telling somebody about it today. One of my other ambassadors who wasn't at convention said, well, now tell me about the new products. So I was telling her about the Mega X, and she's very interested in that, but it's not yet available. But when something new comes out like that, like we changed the name of our Fast Relief products this month from Fast Relief to Ease, E-A-S-E, and it has a new label, a new bottle that's blue. It's real pretty. It's like our X Factor green bottle, except it's blue. So you can tell all of your past prospects or former business builders about the changes that have happened this month. Here's another place you find people, and I did this very week. You go through your phone and your Facebook contacts. That is paying off for me. Here's what happened. I started going through my contacts in both of those places, and I started sending various different people a text message, an email, or I called them. And I told them, I started going through all the people that live in Shreveport, which is where I used to live, and where the bulk of my ambassadors are located, at least my first level ambassadors. I started going through both of those places, doing either a text, an email, or a personal call. And I text one lady that I don't think I've talked to her in 2 years since I left Shreveport. And I invited her to our opportunity meeting in Shreveport last Saturday. And she responded and said, I'll be there. I mean, I was kind of, oh, okay, great. Other people, 3 or 4 other people told me, I will try. I will try means if nothing else gets in the way, you know, if I feel like it, if I feel like getting up and getting dressed on Saturday, I'll be there. I don't count the I will try people. But she told me yes, and she showed up. And I think in the next couple of days, she's going to sign up. So I put some time in going through that contact list in my Facebook page. I didn't even get all the way through it. I probably made 40 or 50 contacts in that one day. And one person came, and I think she's going to sign up. She's already talking about people she's going to sign up. When she was at the opportunity meeting and they were sharing, you know, about Plexus, she said, I want to be a diamond. And you know, somebody that has that attitude from the beginning, they have the potential to be a diamond. So I promise you that pays off. If you don't feel comfortable about doing all that yourself, approach the people and use your upline to make a 3-way call. I would be very happy to do a 3-way call with you. I know that Shelley would do that. I know that Becky would do that. I have Becky Barnett, Becky Farmer would do that. Becky Farmer does do that. But those of us who are more experienced, know a little bit more, we'd be very, very happy to do that with you. Here's some more places we can find people. Through lifestyle networking. Look for ways to engage in conversation in your everyday life when you're in a public place or you're outside your house. Ask somebody, this is a good question for a waitress. Do you love your job? Do you have kids? I almost always ask a waitress, do you have children? And a lot of times it'll be a waitress who doesn't have a wedding ring on. I don't ask her if she's married. I just ask her, does she have children? Because you'd be surprised how many times she does have children. She has a baby, a child at home, and she's working as a waitress either because it's a part-time job and she's going to school, or she doesn't have an education. And I've talked to a lot of different waitresses about how they could make some extra income with a very part-time job like Plexus. And it could eventually overtake their full-time job, which might be for them being a waitress. If you give them a sample and tell them what it does, you can say, I promise you're going to love this. And if you promise you will try it, I promise I will follow up with you about it. Now, how are you going to follow up? You have to get their name. You have to get their name and number, and then you have to follow up. And I've done this. You ask them, once you've had a little conversation with them and you feel like you're in tune with them, say, hey, would you mind giving me your contact information? And I just usually hand them my phone. I pull up a new contact, and if I know their first name already, I'll type their first name in, and I'll just hand them my phone. Would you mind putting your contact information in for me? And most of the time they're younger than me, and I say, I know you can do it faster than I can do it. And they will do that almost in fact, I've never had anybody not do that yet. So the main thing is, if you give them a sample and you get their contact information, you absolutely, definitely need to follow up with them. Another way that we can make contacts with parties and virtual parties. And I know some of you know about virtual parties. Some people on our team have done virtual parties on the internet. Always do a party for your new ambassador when it's at all possible. Reach out to your friends and ask them to host an event for you. If you have good friends that aren't even taking your Plexus products, ask them, hey, would you have a Plexus party for me? You might have friends that would just love our products, maybe even some that want to join our business. And then offer to that person some kind of incentive to do that for you. A free this, a free that, whatever. And obviously we know about social media. All of us use social media to reach out to people. And what we really are is just a paid storyteller. We tell stories on Facebook. We tell our stories. We tell other people's stories. And I want to be sure you all know about bufferapp.com. This is the web address, bufferapp.com. Buffer is an app whereby you can do 10 posts at a time and schedule when you want those posts to go out. It will go out to any number of different places. It'll go to Facebook. It'll go to LinkedIn. It'll go to Twitter. It'll go wherever you tell it to put that post. Now, LinkedIn and Twitter are shorter, of course, than what we have room for in Facebook. But it's free for 10 posts. You can do 10 posts in one day. You can do 10 posts in 1 month. You can do it however you want. But when you've done one of your 10, you can go in and do another one. When you've done 5, you can add 5 more. You can always stay up to 10 for free. Then if you want to join, which actually I've done, because there's times when we're traveling or we're going to be really busy one weekend, and I joined Buffer for a year. So I have unlimited posts that I can do. When you post to social media, you want to mix your personal and your inspirational posts with some business posts. You only need to post Plexus 2 or 3 times a day. You don't want to make your post Plexus, 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 Plexus. We call that puking Plexus, and nobody wants that. Your business post can be about a lifestyle, congratulating new people on your team, welcoming new distributors, achievements they've made, encouragement, product tips, testimonials, befores and afters, which we're very good at that, and business success stories. I haven't always welcomed new people on my team on my personal Facebook page. I really honestly don't remember to do that a lot, but it's a great thing to do. I think I missed one. You want to engage your audience with your life and with your business. Now, we don't necessarily want to tell the whole world in a public post, and you can change every single post to public or friends or friends of friends. You can set the setting, each individual post where you want it to go. And I try to make my Plexus posts public. And my family posts, I put them as friends. More ways we can connect. We can join networking groups or Chamber of Commerce events or any kind of group like that. We can join. This allows you to meet other people and help each other with your business. And I know that this week, Heather went to a networking group and she was telling me about it. All the people in that particular group are networkers in other businesses. There were no other health and wellness companies but Plexus. You can go to events like weddings and things like that. Ask a lot of questions when you meet people at an event. What do you do? What kind of job do you have? They will usually ask you in return, well, what kind of work do you do? I mean, I told somebody today, I'm a networker. This person, the conversation was concerning some health care, so I didn't need to really go further. But I told them I do networking. And if it's, depending on the kind of event it is, you know, if it's a wedding reception where it's all about the wedding and the bride and everything, you don't necessarily want to start telling them all about your Plexus business there. But you can get their contact information and tell them, you know, you may or may not have a personal interest in this business, but you could lead me to just the right person because I'm also looking for referrals. So you can get their contact information that way. You can look at people who provide services for you. Hairdressers, nail technicians, realtors, waitresses. Like I said, I've talked to lots of waitresses. I've talked to my hairdresser. I've talked to my nail tech. In fact, I have an appointment with her this Friday morning to talk with her specifically about Plexus in more detail than I've already talked to her about. This is what you can say. I'm looking for people like you for my business. Can we exchange information? I'd love to set a time to chat and tell you who I'm looking for and share more about what I do. Another way you can contact people is when you travel. Ask where the people are going on their journey and why they're going to that destination. And usually they'll ask you the same thing. Tell them where you're going and that you're expanding your business in that location. You know what? It doesn't matter where you are. You are expanding your business in that location. And they'll ask, well, what do you do? Well, that's an open door to share Plexus. You can exchange information with them and then you can follow up with them. Here's another way that you can come up with people. Create your list. We've talked about making a list of 100 people. Write down every single name that comes to your mind. Look through your phone contacts, Facebook friends, and your company memory jogger list. Look through old yearbooks, phone books, invitation lists, even Yellow Pages. That might remind you of a business that you do business with them and someone you know. Look at different professions. Who is your accountant? Who's your banker? Who's your chiropractor? Sarah says, make a list of 200 names. Think unlimited. Who is ambitious? Who is successful? And who will really want to build financial freedom? Where else can people invest less than $1,000, Sarah says, and have the potential to earn a 6 or 7 figure income? And in Plexus, we don't invest $1,000 to get started. A lot of other networking companies are going to cost people $1,000 to $2,000 to get started. And sometimes when it costs that much, they don't have a big chance of success either. We have a fantastic chance of success in Plexus. Don't beg people to join your team. Don't chase people to join your team. I've said to people a couple of times, hey, I don't want to bug you about this, but if you have some serious interest in Plexus, I want to contact you about it. But I don't bug people to death, that's for sure. We need to think like a CEO. You want to take that list of 200 people and you want to put a star by the top 20 people. These would be your dream team candidates. These are the people who, in your very wildest dreams, if they join, that'd be the best dream you ever had. That's who you want to join. You want to get the savviest, most well-connected, respected individuals that you know, because they have large centers of influence and they're going to help you build your team faster. Don't prejudge them. Don't say, well, they have enough money, they would never join my team. Please don't prejudge them. Because here's why. Sarah tells about her $50 million mistake. Sarah and her mom used to work for a girl named Stacy, who owned several successful businesses in Chicago. And they thought about asking Stacy about their business several times, but they never got around to calling her. Well, somebody else did. Somebody by the name of Rose. Rose used the referral-based approach with Stacy. In other words, she said, hey, Rose, I would love to share a new business that I've gotten involved in, and I know you have a number of great businesses. I would love for you to give me some referrals for my business. So they met for coffee, and Rose came to that meeting with a list of hundreds of names that she was ready to give as referrals. Well, when Stacy heard the opportunity, she decided that she was going to come to a meeting with Rose, and Sarah was hosting that meeting. When Sarah saw her walk in the door, her stomach hit the floor. And Stacy joined that night. Stacy ended up being the top recruiter in the whole company that year. And Sarah says she will end up being $1 million earner someday. This book was written, I think, several years ago, so no doubt Stacy is already $1 million earner. Considering the team that Stacy is building, Sarah says Stacy is her $50 million mistake because she prejudged her and she never got around to calling her. So we don't want to make that kind of mistake. Don't prejudge anyone. If somebody comes to your mind, follow that little tug in your heart and call them. She says call them immediately. Which is greater, the risk or the reward? The risk that they'll tell you no, or the reward that they'll say yes? The worst thing they can say is no. You are not going to die if they say no. You don't know what their dreams and hopes are. It's our job to share. It's their job to decide. Remember, keep your mouth and your mind open. When your mouth and your mind are open to plexus, your business is open. You never know where or when you're going to find your next rock star, because the whole world is a lead for you. And you know we're in foreign countries. I actually had a friend request today from someone in Australia. They're already a Plexus ambassador, but absolutely, yes, I friended them because they have a world of people that I don't know. And someday I want to go to Australia anyway, so I'm glad to know her. Now, take what you learned and go out and rock your world. You guys can rock it. You're as interested enough to be here tonight and to learn, and you could be the next rock star. Next week, we're going to learn about Chapter 6, Power Presenting, different ways to approach people and different ways to present to people. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, stop the video, and I'm going to stop the sharing. Hey, I did it right. Look at that. My camera is off, and I don't know why. Okay, let me see. Manage, unmute. This happened to me last week.
Yeah.
I got to figure out why this is happening. Heather says you can call Zoom and they'll talk you through it, but exactly the same thing happened to me last week. And see, when I hover over the camera, it won't let me turn it on. So y'all have to talk to me without seeing me. All right. So Laura, this is your first time with us. What did you learn?